thing. All right. First thing first, gotta jump into futures. Uh, 15 minutes. Let's open up 1 hour futures. It was a great day. Upside, downside, every which way. All right. So let's jump into the futures. 1 hour chart. Futures got pretty oversold. Uh, and we got this push back again. And I think the futures closed somewhere around here, around 39.09 or something. And we've been pushing, and I think there's still enough room to the upside for futures to clear this 39.50 and probably push into this number, 39.72. So my base case would be 39.56, and a good to have would be 39.73. If they break there, then we'll look for a push into 39.78. Uh, Probably as of now, not really plotting that. But if in fact futures clear this 39.75 number, yeah, there's a good bit of upside, 39.78 and above. But let's see how that goes. This bounce today, towards the end of the day, pretty much was expected. It had to bounce. It, I mean, there were all signs all over the place that it's going to bounce, and Apple was refusing to push into that number. Uh, this number right here, Apple was refusing to push into this number, and I'm still waiting for this number. And I was short Apple through puts 2 weeks out, but it did not seem right to hold on to that trade, so I exited that trade. Uh, Theta was no, well, I could have held on to that. The theta burn was not that bad, yet Apple was refusing to push down, so I had to cut those. Maybe I'll look for the same trade again tomorrow, but meanwhile, we'll trade this thing. Uh, if the futures enter the Bollinger Band, there's a good chance that it's going to go hit this 39.73. And there is enough ammo for futures to do that, actually. I can see this crossing here. We got one green, two green, and one more green is in order. I think, yeah, we'll get one more green bar. Maybe not right away because it went straight up. So it has to maybe, take a breather of some sort and then continue here. Uh, 40.79, not looking for it, but the short covering rally, if short covering rally comes into picture, 40.79 is a real possibility, is a real possibility. If Apple starts to push up, then 40.79 is a real possibility. I'm not denying that. As of now, am I plotting that? Nope. Here is where I'm stopping, 39.75. This is a good to have. On the daily, futures are yesterday or in the morning I was talking about this, right? So this thing seems to be oversold, and right here, SMI is giving a crossover. If this crossover takes hold, then we might get one day, another day of good push to the upside, just like it did here. Got pretty oversold, and we got another couple of days to the upside. Expecting the same, it would have been very nice. It would have solidified this bounce would have solidified my that bias, the bounce bias or the bounce theory had Apple tested that 397 number. If Apple had tested that 397 number and would have been bouncing off of that number, it would have been really awesome. All stars would have been lined up and we would have been pushing higher. And because Apple did not push down into this number, we'll need to watch our backs. We'll trade it to the upside, but we'll always keep eye on this thing. It might not push down tomorrow. It might not push down on Monday, but this needs to happen. This needs to happen. All right. So on the weekly, there's a gap. So I don't believe. It's hard to say at this point. It till here we were okay. Till here, we knew this would happen. We knew it was going to break. Where's that Apple? Till this point, we knew that it was going to break this and it was going to go into this. And if it breaks below there, we know it's going to go into this. We knew this. This was a script, right? All the way from 152 to 137. That was the script. And now, instead of going and hitting this number, Apple kind of made a mid U-turn. So, what did it bounce off of? I have no clue, but this is not a good level to bounce off of. There's nothing here. Maybe it just got oversold and it bounced, but still, it should not have bounced there. It should have gone all the way down here. And that did not happen. So that is the reason we will keep a close watch and maybe, watch our back, so to speak. On the future side of things, and let's go here. Yeah. So 39.78, pretty doable. And then if that clears, we're looking for 40.21. And this is how I want to see happen tomorrow. And most likely, there's a very, very, very good chance that 40.21 will happen tomorrow. But it would depend on 30.95. And this is a good to have based on this chart. So if we clear here, then we are looking for a push into this number. But this will act as a solid resistance based on multiple time frames. We're looking for a hit into 39.78 and probably take a breather here. If that clears, then we'll look for a push into 40.15. Right now, not plotting that, but there's a very good chance of that happening. Again, if it clears here, then we'll take a notice of that. Now let's get into Apple. This guy is pretty much everything. Want to move markets? Get Apple. Apple got oversold. Fair enough. Apple was looking for this bounce since the morning. I did not get that bounce all the way through into the mean, but Apple was looking into this bounce. Towards the end of the day, the selling got pretty saturated. And also many traders were looking for a short covering rally, and that's what ended up happening. The short covering rally came in and SPY pushed up, and after that I think SPY actually came back down, if I'm not mistaken. Did not see the charts yet, but I believe that SPY had come down after this. I don't have the charts here, but yeah. So I am expecting this continue push to the upside a little bit further, and for that to happen it needs to clear this 8. Right now it's stuck between the 5 and the 8. Needs to clear up the 8, and then the test of 143.14 would come. And if in fact it actually pushes into this Bollinger Band, then there's a very good chance that it's going to go hit this number around 144.38. So today it cleared that number, yes, but it was not able to go into the Bollinger Band. Tomorrow, I think there is bright chances that it's going to go into the Bollinger Band. If it does, we can look for a push into 144.38. Then a push into 145.65. This is how I think it should go. And let's look on the, yeah, this is also getting oversold. So I think a push into this number here, 143.86. Not plotting this number here, but if it does actually clear this, then we will take notice to the upside. And here, this is a doji. So exactly what it says, indecision. Here's a problem. This is not right actually. This is red doji. What am I supposed to make of this red doji? And then we have downside here, and there's a very good chance it's going to bounce to the upside. Right? I don't know what to make of this thing. So let's play bounce. Let's play bounce. Let's say from wherever we are, it bounces. Then my 143.87 is my target. And if it does clear that, then we'll start to look into this number 144.90. And if the rally continues, 154, or rather 152. Right about here. I don't believe it's going to be a 10-point rally from where it is right now. but the game would be a different game if in fact Apple clears this number 140 144.40 or something. If it clears there, then it would be a different game. I think then shorts will take notice of that, and if the volume comes in to the upper side, yeah, then it will spark a rally. So be on the lookout for that. And if it does, in fact, I don't see a path for it to go hit 152 in this market in these market conditions. But if in fact it does, then that would be a huge rally on that. And so Apple, I spend a lot of time explaining these charts, Apple charts, because there's a very good chance that if Apple crosses above this super trend here, which will act as resistance right now, if it does in fact clear that, then there's a good chance it will make a run for probably this number. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's keep a very close eye on that tomorrow. It is making a doji here, and the downside is still here, 137.84. So that's how I want to say this is the range for me. Below here, 135, 136 range, and up here, 144.60. So yeah, 144 to down here, 136. So this is the range that I want to play this game. And if in fact it clears to the upside, then we'll look for a rally. If it clears, pushes to the downside, then yeah, not plotting this, not saying this is going to happen just now, but there are bright chances that if this level breaks, and then we go on the monthly, and voila, this is where it will push into 135, 136, then 124. 120 Apple is I think majority of the market participants want to see Apple 120. I strongly believe so. Uh, is that going to go past 120? I don't think so. But majority of the market participants, I think Apple 120 is a very good number. Unless institutions know something that we don't know. Maybe there was a report from China or something. I don't know who reported. I think it was Bloomberg that was running a report that said Apple would be out of China's public offices. Uh, what I mean by that is government. Chinese government will not be using Apple anymore. So that would be a bit of a I don't know how much of a revenue effect that would be, but yeah, that will take a hit. Apple should take a hit from that. It's not going to happen right away. It's going to be phased out in 2 years. That's what they say. However, Apple has announced a buyback. Apple has announced a increase in their dividend. So Apple 120 is a very good spot. Till that time, if Apple bounces, I will bounce. I will take a trade to the upside, but I'll be a net buyer of Apple right here, 120. I'll be a net buyer of Apple. Uh, and the markets were kind of weird today, right? It just closed some near to yesterday's close, and VIX was actually negative on the day. Right? So this is very, very, very weird. This is very weird stuff. Market closing negative, VIX closing negative. I don't know what to make of it. But VIX needs to calm down. 34, 30s, this is elevated. And I don't know if you guys remember this push in VIX, right? This push in VIX. Where is that? No, where is that? Right here. This push. A couple of months back. This push in VIX, and market was going down like crazy. And now you don't see that happening. You don't see that happening, and you don't see the spike in VIX. So that means, but still the market is going down. Still the market is what 1,000 points off its highs. That should have put VIX probably somewhere around here, but that's not happening. So that means this is not a VIX induced sell-off. It is so it's more or less like it's collapsing on itself. That's what is happening there. And VIX, let's go look at VIX to the lower time frames. I still believe that VIX needs to come back in here, this number, and test about 29.97 or something like that. And then if it can start to push back up, then we can look for that. It has detached itself from the 5. Let's see if it can come back in. VIX on the daily, this is why I was looking for the upside. So VIX made a doji, again a doji, and I don't know what to figure from this. Ideally, I would want to see this performance here. Right? Ideally, this is what I want to see, but we are far from ideal conditions. However, still, I would want to see a touch of 8 here. 31.58. A touch of 8 would, if it bounces from 8, that would be a understandable bounce. But it is hitting its 8 and it's bouncing. And if not, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So tomorrow, let's see if we can get 31.54, and if it cracks below that, then we'll start to look for a downside into 30.42 or something. That should give enough ammo to Apple to start pushing higher. And if Apple starts pushing higher, it's fairly straightforward for the markets to bounce. Whole thing. Uh, let's go. And these numbers will change tomorrow morning when the markets open. I don't believe it's going to be there. So let's say if the markets open and if VIX kind of actually breaks below this, then we're looking for a push into this right here, about 31.38 and most likely 31.20. So this number would, this is a 200, right? So 200 usually acts as pretty decent support or resistance. So in this case, it will act as resistance, 31.23. If it breaks below there, then we're looking for a push into most likely, 31 and perhaps into 27.70. But as of now, not really plotting that. If it breaks below here, let's push into 31. And yeah, 31.20, then 31 right here. I strongly believe that 31 is achievable for VIX. If it breaks below there, we'll take a notice of that. And then let's see how far below it can go. Uh, and this is the one I was eyeing, but I don't know if it's worth talking or not. But this is building to the upside. This is clearly building to the upside. Amazon is it's clearly building to the upside, and and if we can hit this number again by 2200, and then there's a clear hit of 2282 out of 2138. It's about here, right? So it's about here. So I think I do believe that it's going to go test this number again one more time, and if it clears there, then we're looking for a push into 2282. As of now, I think there's no harm in plotting 2282. Short covering rally happens, and in a flash it will be there. But right now, I think from 2138, which is right about here, then a push into 2201, $70 push, probably $60 push. Yeah, yeah, we can. Yeah, there should be a $60 push on this, and if that clears, then we're looking for another 2293. And Amazon is it looks pretty decent here, very decent actually. It is giving you a doji here, and it is detached from everything. So I think stars are lining up. But of course, unless Apple does start to push higher, we can't do much anything about anything. Uh, am I looking for Amazon 1590 so 1600? Definitely not. I mean, it would be nuts to think of Amazon at 60. But if Apple comes down into 120, yeah, this will be broken, I think, and Amazon will be pushing down here, 1420 or something. I think 1420 is pandemic lows actually. No, pandemic lows are here, 1600. Wow, wow. Will we see Amazon there again? I don't know. That's a tough one. Wow, Amazon gave up every single thing. Oh, 37 to 21. Oh,
Sorry. Uh,
yep.
That being said, if I was looking to add to like a 5 or 10 year portfolio, if I was like just one or two shares,
Hmm.
still wouldn't recommend taking equity at this point.
Yeah, you could. 10 years, yeah, you could absolutely you could do. And probably the equity would be something like an Apple, something like Microsoft, something like an Amazon, something like a Google. I would
Okay.
stay away from Facebook, Netflix, yeah, Tesla. I would stay away from those, and you know, I would give more share to Microsoft and Google.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
those, yes, sir. Those companies will be there. Doesn't matter what. All right, cool thing. So I am interested in Amazon. I don't know how to play it yet. I wanted to get involved today itself, but did not get involved. Kept on waiting on Apple to do some, come into 137, and then I wanted to take a position too long, too waited for too long, I guess. And Apple pushed up, and Amazon pushed up, so missed out on a whole fucking $100 here. Anyways, so yeah, this is another interesting one. I'm watching Google. I want to be involved in Google before the split, but I don't know how to get involved with Google. What do I mean by that? I don't know if Google is going to push down further. Again, it is also giving you a doji, and it is hitting all those numbers. So everything is at a point where they can bounce, and ephemeral bounce don't care, but there will be a bounce. Everything is stating that, but Apple is still not there with that 137. And right here, it did not happen. 2196 did not happen yet. So this needs to happen. Simply because it is hitting the Bollinger Band, lower Bollinger Band, it is going off of that. But I think this needs to happen. It will test again, and if that happens, then I'll be a buyer of this thing. See how clean that bounced off of there. Fuck, missed that. Anyway, cool thing. And am I pricing in Google sub 2000? Maybe not. 1979, maybe not. But if it does come here, I will be a net buyer of this thing. And again, I'll reiterate this thought process of mine that I am okay. Let's say the market reverses here, and I'm okay to be not the first guy to buy in. And prices on the net valuations of assets and whatnot, the prices are very attractive, and in fact, almost all the institutional investors know that, and I'm pretty sure they have whatever the plans they have to buy those assets. I'm pretty sure they are circling around that. They're gonna scoop up. It's just too, Amazon trading at 2138. Basically, if even if just you say, AWS, Amazon's AWS business for that rate, and then you're simply getting your retail for free, basically, retail and that Prime and all that for free. That's the price, and that's going for that. But I don't want to be the guy who buys the first, because if a shakeout happens, I don't want to get shook out, right? So I will wait for, even if it goes about, like let's say $100 or $200, I'm okay. I will get into that later. I will hold on to that trade for a little longer. That being said, let's get into this guy. It bounced off of this number, no surprises, and it is bouncing hard, pretty hard. And now what next? I believe that after whatever bounce it is having here, if it turns into a, if people start to cover the futures that they shorted, I think I don't know who is buying this. This is just a technical bounce here. This retail is totally, I think, out of Bitcoin or whatnot at this point. I don't know who is buying this, but I think this needs to be propped up one way or the another, or else it will cause a whole lot of damage. So that's what my understanding is. But somebody is definitely buying this. And if it continues to the upside, not really plotting 36. If it continues to the upside, 30, 1,200 somewhere around here. If it clears there, then we're looking for a push into 31,625. The mean is sitting at about here, 35. Not really looking for the mean as of now. As of now, I'm looking for this 30,200. And if it clears there, we're looking for a push into 31,500. And if it goes beyond that, then we'll take a serious look at that, whether it's a, it's a reversal or not. However, because this is way too much correlated with the market, especially the Nasdaq, I would be looking at this as an indicator to gauge whether the market wants a risk on or a risk off environment. That's what I'm gauging with BTC all throughout. And Al kept pointing that out. There is a correlation between Bitcoin and Nasdaq. I just did not know that the correlation was above 70. That's way too much for a risk for an asset which is not in similar asset class to be correlated 70% plus. Yeah, that's just I don't know what to make of that, but it is what it is. So I look at BTC. If BTC is green and starts to push up, that means risk on environment. If BTC hits one of these levels and starts to come back in, that means a risk off environment, and then go short everything else. All right. So, and one last thing before we wrap up. And here, this thing is, uh, I don't know what to make of this thing now. We were looking for a push down. We got that push down. I thought it was going to stop here at the mean and start to push up. Indeed, it broke the mean, came down here, went to the Bollinger Band, and it's starting to push up. So if it pushes up, then the mean is next one, 20.91. If it clears the mean, then we look for a push into probably here, 2.95. But look at this average. The average is still pointing down, even though the RSI is still pushing up. That is telling me that it is an ephemeral bounce. The average here is still pointing down. So if indeed it crosses this line below, and we're looking for a push into this number, 2.72. And if 2.72 breaks, then we're looking for a push into 2.67. So this is way more critical to me than any other data point at this point. The markets are not really going off of this number, but this is a critical data point. I don't know when this will come into picture. Perhaps next FOMC again. But yeah, I will be monitoring the situation for the recession. This number, the 10-year and the 2-year. I'll be monitoring both of those. Maybe looking for a recession. All right, so let's wrap it up here. And if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, data points, do let me know.